So I bought this recently to add to my fleet of CRT testers. I've kind of wanted one of these. I've wanted a 467 more than this, but I set it on a 470. I was able to find a pretty decent price on it. As you can see, we have state-of-the-art identity protection devices here. And I did ask this seller to package this very carefully and put plenty of padding on all sides of the box. Now, based on the size of this box, I know that's probably not the case. Maybe I should have asked him to double box it, but that's neither here nor there. I'm not going to call this person out either. It's not what this video is about, but I noticed how small the box was and I was opening it up. I said maybe I'll shoot a video on this. Maybe this will be interesting. So we'll see. Yeah. I don't know. I think this is like a urine absorber for your bed or something. You know, at least it's not used. With eBay, you never know. But yeah, this is it. That's definitely not adequate packaging at all. 2 slices of this. I mean, it's better than nothing. I've had stuff shipped to me with no packaging in it. Better than nothing, but completely inadequate. Peanuts might have been better. Double boxing it probably would have been the best. That's what I should have asked the guy, but I digress. Let's continue. So this is it. And I like the 67 and the 70, but I don't like them because they're in this cheap plastic case, and it just has a... Oh wait, you hear that? Oh, something's rolling around in there. But it has this cheap plastic case, doesn't have a real hinge on it, which kind of sucks, but whatever. I might drill hinges on it someday or just take the top off. Now what was cool about this is that it came with all the adapters, the standard set. It came with a 13 as an extra. And these are kind of out there. You can get the universal one, but those are always nice to have. Came with the manual. I'm supposed to have everything with it. Well, these weren't missing. These little silver covers that B+K puts on their knobs, they weren't missing in the ad, I don't think. Let's double check that. Alright, here's the ad. So, it looks like they're all there in the ad. So hopefully that's what's rattling around down there in the bottom of the case and not something else. Let's see. See if that's the case here. Yeah, there's some of them. I think that's all of them. See them down there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Pick this thing up. Yeah, so we got 4 out of 5. I'm still missing one. Maybe it slipped under there in the chassis. And oh wait. Yeah, this was kind of sketchy. Let me take you off the tripod and show you this. I can already see that this has incurred some damage, some slammage from USPS. I don't know if you can see. Let me zoom in on this. Well, you probably can't tell too well maybe. But I saw this when I opened it up. I'll give you guys a quick peek. I'd noticed that this kind of, the chassis kind of moved away from the edge of the case a little bit, which kind of raised some concern, but, this plastic could warp over time. That's not uncommon, but that plus this, here's a better view of this. I don't know, maybe I'll be able to get a better view on that. I'm going to open this up and see if the 5th, trim ring slid under there somewhere. Stand by. Earth angel, will you be mine, my darling dear? Love you all the time. I'm just a fool in love with you. Yeah, whenever you have screw holes that disappear, that's never good. Same over here. Not indicative of positive things. Oh no, I ruined the foam. No, it was in perfect condition. No. I'm just fooling around. I'm surprised that this stuff even still works. It's usually long gone by now, super degraded. Well, the ring's not under there. That's not good. It's probably stuck somewhere in this chassis and it's shorting out on something. That's why it's always, you know, whenever I buy old stuff like this, I always open it up and look in here to see if there's any, you know, thing obviously blown up. I check the settings, I check stuff out. I might shoot a video. I purchased a 465 a while back that had some crappy capacitors. Yeah, just put your fingers right across there. Oh wow. How nice is that? That's pretty delicious, huh? Check this out. Look how close the transformer was into destroying the momentary switch for the rejuve. Yeah, that definitely caught some slammage from USPS. It looked like it was slamming this way, slamming in. But I'm gonna take a real close look in here and see if I can find that trim ring. And if I find it, I'll try to turn you back on and see if I can show it to you. Alright, I was looking inside the chassis for a couple of minutes with a flashlight before I found this thing. I actually gave up hope on finding it because I was looking like in here, and there's really not anywhere under the main board that it could get trapped. But then I finally found it. Stuck behind the transformer. Can you see it? Let me see if I have something I can point at that. That's it right there. Right under the transformer. So I'm going to see if I can get that out. By just lifting this up and maybe giving it a tap or something. Hold on. So I looked over this real briefly, and it would appear that all the pots are original, the fuse is still intact. It would appear that everything's original. I mean, even the wafer switch, the multi-section switch, is still good. And not good, but clean. Usually they're all tarnished, they're all black. But this seems to be a relatively unabused set that somebody didn't like try to hack back into service. Just a quick something that I found is usually you can look at the surface of this and tell kind of what the condition of the tester is. I mean, that's not 100% all the time, but you know, if this area is all worn out, or if the knobs are missing, or if the rings have fallen off, or any of these high traffic areas, especially this and the heater adjust area, these high traffic areas that you have to use even for testing black and white tubes, if this is all worn out, the tester is probably going to be trashed. Let me show you a good example of that. This is a 467 that I bought for parts for my 467, and if you notice, there we go, how this is all worn out, and we have a non-standard replacement knob on here, and this is all worn out, and I mean this thing is trashed. I needed a meter for my 467, and even somebody destroyed the meter on this. Look, they broke the plastic backing, the binding posts for the meter. I mean, totally ridiculous. And they hot glued it back to the thing. I mean, I don't even know what the heck. But this is a story for another day. I just wanted to display this in reality. This, if the thing is worn out, if the CRT tester is worn out, it's probably worn out. And funny story about that 466, that actually has like a cheap Nintendo, like all plastic potentiometer in it. I'll probably show that in another video, but that thing is totally destroyed. The only good parts on that, you know, the meter movement might be good, but the only other good parts on that are like the knob and the wire round resistor for the filament set. But I digress. This one looks okay. It looks like it has all the original parts. Nothing looks like it's severely been electronically destroyed. I don't think this is gonna affect the performance, but we're gonna check it out real quick. One thing I was kind of disappointed about on this 470 is the calibration instructions. All it really provides you is a heater set. Calibrate the heater. And I mean, that's it. Even on the 467 that I just showed you, it gives you a heater calibration and 2 amperage calibrations, one in microamps and one in milliamps for the tester. So kind of disappointing that this doesn't have that, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. But let me plug this in. I'm going to test the heater voltage real quick, see if it's way off or not. Get out the duodecal, because I know how that hooks up from memory. Set our heater range, set that all the way down. I don't know, that sounds a little noisy, but I think it'll still work. Let me go get some cheapo meter real quick. We got the $15 cheapo going here. We're gonna just test the heater range and see if the heater voltage is good enough for a quick function test on this thing. Plug it into one of my known good CRTs. We'll set it to 6.3 and see what we get. We're getting 6.53 on the meter. And that's dead on 6.3 for me. So when we're actually at 6.3, we're right below 6.3. So 6.3 to 6.5, I think you can allow like 3% on this thing. Alright, so this is going to be the test mule. The Sanyo 21T66, manufactured in December of 1979. This is actually an interesting little TV. This is probably the second or third TV, like older TV, that I ever bought in my life. And it's a real interesting little set. It's just a small black and white set. And I thought the thing had no ICs in it, but I was wrong. It has one IC. I'll show you real quick. There's a little IC hiding right there. See it? I thought the thing had no ICs in it. I was really going to be impressed, but it was just hiding, all the way in the back, on the front end of the set. But let me set this thing up. We'll get it plugged in and we'll see what we get on the 470. So the 12VB RP4 picture tube that's in the Sanyo is not listed on the setup chart that came with my 470. So this chart was obviously printed before 1979. Tester was also possibly made before 1979. Now this is a chart from a 466 that I also have, and the tube is listed, but the socket is going to be wrong because this uses the duodecal socket system of the 466. The heater voltage is going to be correct, but the socket is going to be wrong. Now, what I did to try to kind of confirm what I thought is I looked at some of the other 12VB family, and that uses the number 7 socket. But ultimately what I did, there is an online resource available that has a, probably from the 80s or the 90s, a very comprehensive setup chart that works for the 467, the 470, the 480, and the 490. So I'm going to get the number 7 socket out, hook everything up, and I'll show you the results. So we've set the heater to 11 volts. I set it a little bit low in this case because I know that the meter reads a little higher than the voltage. So now we're going to check for leakage from the heater. None. We're going to check G1 leakage. None. That's also good. Now we're going to set the G1 voltage, which in this case would be set to 50 volts. Okay. Now we're going to set the cutoff, and for this model of tester you raise it by 1 division. Okay. We have our 1 division. Now we're going to read the emission. Alright, as predicted, this is a good but not great tube. That's what I already know, so it appears that this tester is functioning properly. Now off camera, possibly at a later date, I might go through this and actually test some of the electronic components within the tester, but I'm not sure that that's going to be necessary, and I can't guarantee that I'll do that or post a video about it. Most of the times when you buy one of these, try the big tip on CRT testers, others have mentioned this, is get one with all the adapters or get one with the universal adapter. Try to see if you have support for your tester. See if it doesn't come with a manual, if you can download one online, a manual and a setup chart. See if you can find one that's got everything with it. It's usually indicative of a tester that's been treated better, but this one does come with the full schematic, which I was not able to find online, so definitely helpful, has a parts list on it. So like I said, I might go through this at some time, but it appears to be functioning correctly for my purposes. So I think we're going to call that a wrap. Enjoy the rest of your day or night, wherever you may be.